It was an accident. Are you good? What's up? Hey. Oh, how are you? What's up? Hey. Good.
Sorry, if you gross in my.
No, I'm just kind of like. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Happy New Year, everyone. Nice to see everyone back in 2017. So we can go ahead and call this meeting to order at 7:03. And with that, we'll begin with the signing of our attendance sheet. But before we do that, as the attendance sheet is being passed around, I'd like to take a moment to introduce a new member of the Usac Council who will be with us going forward.
Hi, I'm Jessica. For those of you who haven't met, I'm going to be replacing Patty. So hopefully I'll be caught up to speed really quickly, but definitely come visit. I'd love to see you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so with that, we see the attendance sheet being passed around, and now we'll move into the approval of the agenda. So before we go ahead and approve the agenda, are there any amendments to the agenda? Amy?
The first one is to strike the ERC fund. And then the second one is to add an appointment on behalf of FICOM.
Okay,
For
just to clarify, so if we're adding an appointment to the agenda, was this submitted before Thursday at 4?
No, that's what I'm adding it.
It was?
No, that's why I'm just adding it to the agenda. What it is FICOM wants to kind of start getting their team together. He has your last
Technically.
but he would rather just have them put in this week so they can get the hiring packet in and everything, since they have been doing the work already.
Understood. So, but technically with this
It would be an addition, so we have to vote on it.
So this would be a breaking of the bylaws. Just we don't even have to do a 2/3 vote if we are to do this, and just so you all understand keeping the precedent. So if that's something you as council members feel comfortable with doing, then we'll go ahead and do that. If not, then you reserve that right. But for now, I'll write it in for the agenda pending the vote of the council. Actually, do you want to just vote on that one separately, since it would be?
We should do a separate vote.
Okay, so this is an appointment, FICOM appointment. FICOM appointment. Totally understand, Kevin, just for the sake of
Kevin, was there a specific position?
They're a committee member, but they're in charge of auditing and also recruiting.
Okay, so before we vote on the entire agenda as amended, I'd say we vote on this one, and I believe this requires a 2/3 vote, since this would be consistent with our bylaws. So I can entertain a motion to amend the agenda to add the FICOM appointment. So I can entertain that motion.
I second where I make the motion to.
You don't have to entertain, you just have to motion.
Okay, move to add FICOM appointment to the agenda.
Okay, is there a second? Ashley?
Second.
Okay, and before we go into a vote, were there any comments from the council about?
I actually have a little question. I think neither of us knew this one. But Deb maybe may know this, if they'd be a consent appointment or an action. Okay.
If it's anything that's stipended, it's
Oh.
not.
This is seconded, correct? Is that it? Okay, so the action. Any additional from the council? Yes,
I move to amend the agenda by adding a special presentation.
Well, actually, no, we're still, before we do that, we're still focusing on specifically this one.
Okay. Before we go.
Because, actually,
Oh, this is the one.
I just have a question, for Kevin, like, would, if we wanted to wait till next week and go through the correct procedure, would that really inhibit the work, or would that be something that we would feel comfortable with? Because I'm just, thinking about the consistency of the bylaws, and if we're gonna decide to do this, then, I think it's,
I mean, I understand, that's why I want to have it go, because, just not compliance sakes, but since she has started to work early on there this right, I do want her to be, I guess, paid to some extent, monetarily, through stipends. So I do want to expedite her having process.
so to get this straight, just so the council is clear, if this is so that she can begin receiving her stipend.
At least process, turning the process of, hiring practice.
So if we were to wait an additional week, then it would delay her
She wouldn't
being.
be, she wouldn't be paid the days that she would work with anything, because it's accrued
Okay.
on the basis.
Okay, understood. I think that's our report.
I don't see like the extreme circumstances that make it necessary for this to be approved this week. So I'll be letting you know, because I don't think that we can just make bylaw changes on this whenever they come up. The whole point of the agenda is that it's out there for the student body to see. I haven't seen a resume for this person, so I feel comfortable voting on this appointment.
Understood. Additional comment. Amy?
I personally do feel comfortable because this is Amanda Joe, who has worked with Black for a number of years now. She has also sat in on council meetings, especially when we go through last year, so she's been through this process several times. And also, I think that it's fair to ask the student to do work and allocate funds to student groups, which she does on a regular basis. She's always in the back office doing so, and not paying her for her labor. So every single day that we go away, she will be paid for the work that she's doing.
Understood. Taylor?
I don't know if that is necessarily our fault though. I think it's just a matter of requesting it all the time. Like, it wouldn't have been a big deal to just let Sabrina know.
And only I completely understand, it was just because during duration of winter break, when I was to request, and it was on my part, I said that on my part. But I do want it to be slow process if possible, so I am requesting that.
Sabrina?
So I like, obviously don't like breaking bylaws, but at the same time, I do agree with like Amy for saying that we don't want to delay this person a week of work. And while yes, like Kevin should have told me on Thursday, but at the same time, like he didn't, and I don't want to punish the staff member because of that. And he knows in the future to do that. Obviously, we all know to do that, but I personally be voting for it just because I don't want to take away week's pay of someone who's been doing like the work for years.
Understood. Before we go to a vote, were there any other points of commentary on this specific amendment to the agenda? Okay, Dib?
Just want to get a little late, because I do want to vote on this. Can someone please summarize it for me really quick?
We're amending the agenda to add an appointment under the finance committee for a committee member that was studying abroad. Or I should ask that question, what's studying abroad? I did notify the board and a member of council members of her situation, so I do want to add her appointment today and to possibly approve a council.
Okay, understood. Any additional comments? Okay, well, we're gonna change that discussion and now we'll put up to a vote. All those in favor of amending the agenda to add the FICOM appointment, please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All those opposed? 1, 2, 3. And all those abstaining? To a 7-3-0 vote, this amendment has been, well, actually, is that makes it go?
70%.
Oh, yes, 70%, okay. So it's been a few weeks. So with that, then we have amended the agenda to add the FICOM appointment. Thank you, council, and now we'll go back into general amendments to the agenda. Amy?
Did you get the?
Yeah, I got Ashley?
I need to strike travel one.
Okay, additional amendments to the agenda, Sabrina?
This is kind of just a logistical one. I forgot to asterisk the appointments, for the e-board, I believe. So I kind of moved just to,
These are all action items.
yeah, they're all action items, and
Okay.
I just not specified, that's not really my fault. But technically I moved to amend it to add an asterisk to each appointment.
Okay, additional amendments to the agenda,
I move to add a special presentation, and just to give a little context, this is 3 to 5 to 7 minute presentation, just
till maybe 15 works on it. Just to let you all know more about Sigma Chi, we're hoping to launch that next week, next Wednesday to be exact. So I just wanted to give council a week and a half to kind of help distribute that knowledge and to share with you all what we're hoping to do with that, because the success of it kind of lies on the people involved. So I'd like to just share that information this week rather than next week, so there's not.
Is this, you have someone from your office?
Yeah, Jabril's here to give this presentation. We have PowerPoint, I've already sent it to Sabrina.
And this was not submitted.
Yeah, so the reason it wasn't submitted is because Jabril tried texting me last week, but I was out of the country, so I wasn't even receiving any of his messages. So once I got back, it was already late Sunday, so I wasn't able to send the presentation last Thursday on time. So unfortunately, as much as I would love to do that, I'd like for it to be put for a vote this week.
Okay, well, before we do that one, since that would be an additional breaking of the bylaws, are there any other amendments to the agenda? Because I want to do that one last, just so that might have a discussion. Besides that, are there any additional amendments to the agenda? Amy?
Given that Jordan is sick, I would just strike the campus event commissioner report.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Any additional amendments to the agenda? Okay, then, we'll go ahead and we'll move into, I can entertain a motion.
Sorry.
I can entertain a motion to, amend the agenda to add a special presentation, from Elon's office on his program. Is there, so I can entertain that motion.
For discussion.
Yeah, no, we move to it and then we'll go to the discussion and then we can put it to a vote. So anyone who wants to make that motion, it's on the table.
You could make that motion.
Any, okay, you know,
Yeah, I move to amend the agenda to ask such a person.
okay, and then a second. Good one, Ariel. So now we'll move into discussion. So are there any points of Zoe?
As much as I'd love to hear about the program, I think that we really should be following the bylaws, which say that you have to get it on the agenda the week before, and I think it would be, I don't think it would be in accordance with the bylaws if we made this exception and we didn't make the exception for the other special presentation earlier in the year that was voted down. So I'm personally going to be voting no, but I'd love to grab coffee with you and hear about it.
Of course.
Okay, Sabrina?
Okay, so I do want to bring up a point that I did try to add something to the agenda week 1, fall quarter, to like officially approve all the appointments that was voted down by all of council. So I just need I think everyone remember that. But at the same time, Jabril is here, ready to give the presentation if needed. So just to get some context to the options.
Ariel?
Yeah, so I would love to hear about it, just to remain consistent with, the point I had last year about setting president for breaking bylaws, and just remaining consistent with that vote. I'm just gonna also vote.
Additional.
Maybe-
Sorry, I think I saw Dib's hands. And then we'll go back to you, Zoe.
I don't understand why there's such a big deal, because we just had a break. We just had a long break, and we just had things happen before that break to
Yeah.
decompress really. I think it would be fine if we had a presentation. I understand that the bylaws are something that some people on this council really hold dear to their hearts, and I still don't understand why. But, I mean, he's out of the country. How are we supposed to? He's a council member, he's here, he's ready to go, he has to drill, special presentation, I don't understand. But I'm here to listen.
Just some context, good stuff, no?
Yeah, just to give context for the bylaw requirement to submit agenda items in advance, it's not for the benefit of council members. It's actually for the benefit of all of the undergraduate students that you represent. By posting a agenda early, students have the ability to see what the issues are and decide if it's something they care to come be here to listen to watch online and be informed of. The Bruin knows what's going to be presented, if it's something they have interest in sending folks to cover. So it's about your constituency, not actually about you. But unlike adding the action item, which required 2/3 vote, adding a non-action item like a presentation is simple majority. So you still need to go through the process of approving it to go onto the agenda, but it's a different threshold for passage.
Thank you, Dr. Warren. And if there's one point additionally I can add regarding breaking the bylaws, another point that was brought to my attention when we met with the leadership of ASUCLA is that our bylaws by default are demonstrate that we are self-governing in relation to the chancellor. And according to university policy, since ultimately the chancellor has the right to dissolve something like Usac at any time, and what prevents him from doing is that because we have bylaws that both the undergraduate student association and the chancellor's office agree to, and so when we bring in bylaws, that effectively legitimizes the chancellor's ability to say, hey, they aren't even following their own bylaws, so that I can step in. And if the university down the road, the administration wanted to do something, they would have that ability because they have as evidence that we broke the bylaws. And that's a very extreme circumstance, obviously, but it's just something to point out.
Right, and I would just agree with your last emphasis. That's a deeper understanding of the gravitas of casualty or failing to follow your bylaws. In some ways, not following a proper order and voting, modifying, that's a way of following your bylaws. But it's certainly an important matter. If you follow a regular order and make adjustments to an agenda, I mean, I feel like you can do that without too much of that threat. But it's important, as you say, to make sure that you're following the Constitution and bylaws as a gentleman.
I totally understand how breaking the whole precedent of, having the bylaws in the first place, but, as Dr. Wheeler said, I think it's more on like a case by case basis that, is this something that is necessary to do? Not necessarily, but I think it could have more of a positive impact than a negative impact in terms of, if it does get voted. If you look at it right now, the presentation could have been done had we not even had this discussion by now, but I really think it's important that we're having this talk, just to kind of highlight the importance of bylaws in the first place.
After the solution, maybe we could do an unofficial presentation after, and everyone just agrees to stay around. Won't be recorded, but I personally would be willing to stay around and listen to the presentation after the official agenda items, just as like we're all hanging out, listening to a full presentation and learning something about Ingall's office.
Right, we are,
Or an additional, I know that Jabril wouldn't be able to speak, but if you wanted to do an abbreviated version. Yeah, exactly. I'm just like throwing out different ideas, but at the same time, it's like Amy.
Honestly, that no one's really talking about it, but it goes back to last year, August.
I know.
If that happening again in the future, so I think that's where all this anxiety is coming from. So, I mean, I guess if you want to avoid the potential for drama in the future, you can either push it to next week, or you could just honestly, we're not the people that needs to know about Sigma Chi in its entirety, because you're serving the students, right? So you can always do a social media class as well in PowerPoint. Or have your girls step in during their announcements and have you make the announcements of essentially what is.
Yes, did I see any other?
totally
So are there any additional comments on this item before you move it to a vote? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of adding the General Representative 3 special presentation to our agenda, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. All those opposed, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And all those abstaining. To a 4, 6, 0 vote, this agenda item did not pass.
Do you still get like a public comment?
Yeah, definitely.
Is that okay with you, Bill? Yeah, you can present that to the next week.
It's also, he asked me to put on for next week's agenda as well, so it's definitely on for next week.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so, thank you, council. And now, I'm gonna go back and just circle back to the whole agenda, since we did strike some items from it. I just want to ask one more time, are there any amendments to the agenda? Okay, seeing none, I can entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second? Ariel, all those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All those opposed? And all those,
Let's say,
you approve? Okay, you approve, and all those abstain. To a 10-0-0 vote, we have approved the agenda as amended. Thank you, council. And now we will move to the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting on November 29th, 2016. I can entertain a motion to.
I move to approve the minutes from November 29th, 2016, I believe it was.
Second? Am I actually? All those, then we move into a vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All those opposed? And others abstaining. We have approved the minutes from our previous council meeting. And now we move to public comment. So we'll start with our first round of public comment, which is audio only. And then we move to our second round of public comment. So starting over here, this is audio only.
Yeah, you can
If
do
you want to
that.
wait now, or if you want to do it when it's audio and visual, it's up to you.
I guess we can just do audio.
You're going to do it now, and then you'll have, since I know you might have an extended public comment, you have 2 minutes for public comment. Yeah.
Sorry, this is gonna be like really on the fly, I had a whole presentation prepared, but, anyway, so, of course, there's controversy in the world, there's controversy on campus right now, and of course, there are a lot of people who are talking about dialogues across difference and having conversations, but I feel like this need and this craving for dialogue is a little bit watered down, and I'll tell you why. So, I would argue that most, if not all of us, accept the existence of oppressive systems that create disadvantages for marginalized groups that span from healthcare to criminal justice to education, etc. But not a lot of people are really paying attention to how that disadvantage takes place in conversations. So if we take a super diverse group of people and ask them to have a free-for-all conversation about social justice and social issues, then they're going to talk over the women. The Black people are going to be perceived as more aggressive than they're being. There's going to be microaggressions everywhere, right? So what's important about Sigma Chi is not that it creates a space that's sustainable and allows for everyone to have an equal stake in conversation, but for everyone to have an equitable stake in conversation. And that's a skill set that I feel like everyone needs to have, because not having that has consequences that silences and diminishes the voices of people who exist on the margins of our society. So the whole point of the space is to take people who exist on those margins and to take their narratives and push them towards the center of conversation. I'm not here to get y'all to go necessarily, but I'm here for y'all to utilize your networks and to really embody the importance of something like this. So I don't need you to be Facebook blasting. I get you have social media reputations, but your group needs your offices, just like little one-by-one conversations. I feel like would be extremely important to actually create a space where that healthy interaction can actually occur, because it hasn't thus far. So I'll end there. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll continue with our audio only public comment. So we'll start. Any audio only public comment? And now move to audio and visual public comment.
Yay. Oh, wait, give me a hot second.
Okay, there we go. Any audio and visual public comment? Okay, with that, then we will go ahead and close public comment. Now we move on to our special presentations. And we have one from my office. Follow up on the appointments from the last quarter that you want to follow up. So my appointment directors will come in front of the room, and I'll allow them to introduce themselves to you again, and then when you start, you'll have 15 minutes. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, hi everyone, I am Brian Kaya.
Hi, I'm Raj.
Okay, and so we wrote a short little letter. So just kind of told about what we did during fall quarter and during the summer, which is we just Facebook blasted everywhere, interviewed a bunch of people, and we were able to hire and fill all positions. Also, we added a paragraph about how we do wish that committees that even though they only meet maybe once a year, should at least meet just minimal once a quarter, just because I think that in order to be the most effective in whatever their respective committees are doing, that they should just have at least some sort of meeting or some sort of thing that they're doing, just because we are appointing these people, their committees doing this, so they should be meeting about something, and I'm sure there's something they can be talking about. So, next.
I think we kind of really just want to open this up for questions from you and feedback from you, because I remember the last time we were here, Zoe made a comment about why aren't these committees meeting and which ones aren't meeting. So we wanted to address that in this report, and also Rocky made a concern about keeping people accountable, making sure that people are going to these meetings and there's a process of, where we can review them. So I think that's kind of, do you want to go over?
Yeah, so I'm not, so just for the interest of time and because there's, after this page, there's like 17 more pages and I don't really think you want me to just read 17 more pages of stuff. So the next 17 pages after this are just, so don't go to the next page yet, but the next 17 pages after this are just a summary of what they did during fall quarter, what they are projected to accomplish during winter quarter. Some of them are blank just because, so the ones that are blank are the committees that did not have a meeting this quarter. But it's from my understanding that most of them are planning to have a meeting because they start, a lot of the committees start meeting during winter quarter and not fall quarter. And so this page is just kind of describing how we selected applicants and or how we selected our appointments. And so first part was outreach. So we just Facebook blasted everywhere, social media blasted everywhere. We sent all the emails to ask you to send emails to your staff to apply. We sent out a bunch of emails to student leaders. And that's kind of how we advertised it, to try to get as much of a diverse group of appointments as possible. Then we looked at all of the resume application and 90% of them we interviewed. So just kind of the kind of special way we did that point was that since there are people who are like more well known in terms of just kind of Usac spheres, just in order to be fair to especially applicants who just are who want to get involved for the first time, we made sure that if they did not say something that they did within any of these 3 points of resume application or interview, that even if we know that they did something huge and something amazing, that does not count for them because it's not fair for any of the other, maybe someone who's just new to Usac, just who's new to Usac to, in order for us to consider them. And then we just deliberated about who we wanted to pick. So it was a holistic decision. It was all of them were not easy at all, and we spent many hours just talking about different people and about what we liked, what could be improved on, and if we did appoint them, like what we'd ask them to like just kind of work on in terms of just how we think they could be better. And then yeah, okay. And so yeah, so then just what else I do. So next page. Yeah. So then the rest of it is just is just like so the description of the committees and then the update what they did in fall. So let's go to the next one because that's the better example. Yeah. So then like I guess we selected all of this and then during winter quarter they projected all of this. And yeah, so just for the interest of time, we're not going to read the entire thing. Oh, actually, one more thing I do want to add is that how we decided that we're going to continue doing the reports of that just for the interest of time for both the appointments that we're just going to release the end of their and we're going to use the end of quarter report. That way, just because the way we just to time it a bit better, otherwise we kind of like it's just kind of like a 3-week gap between the first report and second report per quarter. So just because that just 3 weeks, it just makes more sense to release one big report for the entire quarter. However, if like when their committee is doing something like larger, so like next week we are asking the food security appointments to be presenting, and later tonight we'll be hearing from election board. So because they are presenting something bigger, we'll have one present to council, or else if there's something that's not, they don't want to put to council, we can just release like a blurb off of both our USAC office because the website and Facebook page. So that's where we also get some updates. So you will hear from these committees during the mid-quarter, but you'll get a large report again like this at the end of this quarter. Yeah. So
so the only committee we weren't able to provide a report on is in this transparency report, and I actually have summarized it, so I just wanted to throw out the points for all of you. It was a student initiated outreach committee, and, oh, sorry. No, yeah, I just wanted to summarize it for them since we didn't able to mention it during the presentation. Just so you all know, like they did meet, she did do a lot of great work and it all is mentioned in there, but just so you know, they allocated funding to various projects, and the goals of their projects are to help students have more navigation towards higher education applications, so that's like what all of their projects are geared towards. They have a mid-quarter roundtable, in which they evaluated the progress of their projects to see where they need improvements made. They also helped out with a lot of CPO events, the welcome reception, the open house, the viewing party, and the tailgate. They were part of planning and helping out with that. They also added things to their own agenda in terms of just for the benefit of the community members. They asked someone in each committee, or someone in the committee each week talk about and educate the community on an issue that's facing people of color, that minority groups in which they want to discuss. And their winter projection. Oh, and they also, because of the social justice referendum, they were able to provide a lot more funding and support for the projects. So a lot of people that were struggling to do the projects are actually able to do them with a lot more leniency. And we're having a lot more volunteers that are coming in. It's expanding as well. So there's projections for winter just to keep working on that, and hopefully provide even more funding for the project so that they can expand.
And just to add, so if any of the council wants any of our appointments to present to council, just email us, email them, and we can set something up. In case there's any specific information that you're looking for, also feel free, all the email listed, also feel free to email them for whatever questions you may have. Because that's part of their job is to be responsive to members of the undergraduate student body.
I think at this point, we would like to open up for questions, critiques, things that we need to do better. I think another thing to point out is that these appointments aren't permanent. If a student is not representing students the way they should be, like it should be addressed, and it should be held accountable for them. So if there is a individual who you feel needs to maybe like have a conversation about something, like please let us know. But yeah, questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, we'll just like break the time so that we can reset, because now we're going to questions,
Okay.
which is a separate block for 5 minutes. So, okay.
I just want to say that I really appreciate the follow-up and all of you taking the time to like, this is obviously a lot, and I think this is kind of so blessing where you were just see where you go, so I appreciate it.
This looks fantastic, and I really appreciate the update, the breakdown, provided emails. I really think it looks great. Going over TGIF committee and sustainability committee, it was really nice to see that. I hope you guys mentioned this already, but for the committees that haven't met yet, and the fall update is that we haven't met yet, what is your plan?
I think the plan is that I think they've all been talked to, and the problem here is that these are campus committees. These are not Usac committees. So Usac is not in charge of when these committees meet. The campus, the chairs of these committees are primarily faculty, staff, administrators of some sort. So those are the people that we need to reach out to. I think that's something that we're going to be coming up, because obviously quality but I think that's something that does need to be addressed. I think it's something that they've often been persistent in doing so and wanting to go on that path of making sure that these committees were created for a reason. Why aren't they doing work? So that's kind of what the next steps are for that specifically, is to contact the individual chairs.
Thank you. Good.
I want to thank you for the thorough work you put into this, because there were concerns at last meeting. I think you really addressed them in a way that at least assuages my concerns that I had last council meeting. So thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions from the council? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and close. Thank you very much. Okay, with that concludes our special presentation. And now we will move to our appointments, and we'll start with our flag conference. So, as they said, this is an action item, and So I'll just hand it over to you, Kevin, and then.
Well, this is Amanda Doe. She is actually studying abroad for a duration of quarter. She hasn't been committed for 3 years. And she has some job with responsibility in charge of recruiting, also in charge of auditing, the organization, on the work community, and I totally not sure.
Thank you. So I think then we'll just go ahead and we'll go into a vote on this because this is kind of a unorthodox procedure because there's not like a description of it or anything. So I guess we'll just say I can entertain a motion.
I move to approve Amanda Doe with the Finance Committee, as a committee member.
Okay, here you go. Second by Ruth. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All those opposed? All those abstaining? Amanda has been approved. Thank you. Congrats. Okay, so excuse me. Now we move to our election board appointments.
They are coming up now. They were all in the board office.
Okay, so are they gonna be here on the next 30 seconds?
We're watching the live stream.
Stall. Sabrina, would you like call for a recess? If they're gonna be.
I'd like.
5 minutes.
We can go.
I think just like a 30-second chill time. They're gonna rewrite up, they're just an officer.
Do they know?
Yes. Do you know?
Okay, well, they're gonna be coming into the room.
They're here.
Then I guess that we don't need to call for a recess, we can just sit here idly.
You all can look over the resumes that were attached. to the
Yeah,
email.
yeah, now's the time to look over the resumes, yeah, exactly.
Is it Kevin? Is it DOE for Amanda Bunce?
Okay, there we go, perfect.
Perfect.
Right on time. Wow. Yeah, so we're gonna, before, we're gonna do each appointment, one by one. But before, I'll turn it over to Danielle, if she wants to give an overview, and then we'll start with vice chair, and we'll go down the list. So, once everyone is settled down, and everyone can give their attention to our election board chairperson, then, they'll give their remarks, and we'll go to each appointment. So, Danielle.
Hi, everybody. I'm here to present my team for this year. So obviously there are individual responsibilities that I look for to match the right person to the right director position, but mostly what I look for is I know I can trust these people. The directors serve as an advisory role to the election board chairperson, and I acknowledge in the end it's my decision, but I know that these people's opinions mean a lot and that I can trust them throughout the entire election. And I'm really excited to show you guys what we can do. I have full faith in my team, and I hope you'll do it.
Okay, thank you. So now we'll begin with our first appointment. This is for the vice chair. Melanie.
I'm correcting.
Okay, yeah. Okay, there you go, perfect. Okay, so for the position of vice chair and what? So you will have, I don't know if there's like a description of the position.
Oh, actually, could you quickly go through, each position within like your crew and just give like a one sentence, little synopsis of what each position does specifically?
Yeah, for sure. So the vice chair, obviously, she and I would be working hand just to run like the overall election. Sam is our external relations director, so he is working with my UCLA to ensure the ballot. So he talks to everyone about that and gets the ballot up and running on my UCLA. Sumon's our finance director, so finance is obviously looked after the expense account, make sure there's no violations there. And strangely enough, the finance director runs the debates. I don't know how that got set up, but I have full faith in his ability to create debate questions, put on a flawless event. Dixon is our endorsements director.
So endorsements works with student organizations to get them to endorse candidates so that students can see their opinions on the election. Lauren Kim is our media director, so she runs our social media. She puts up posters, works with Daily Bruin to create advertisements, stuff like that. And Grant is our investigations director, so obviously he responds to complaints and sees if there needs to be a sanction before.
Okay, thank you. And with that, now we'll go back to Melanie and we will go through the appointment process. So since this is an action item, we're gonna have the same show, the opening. Okay. Okay, great. I just wanted to, is a little different for us. Okay, so hi Melanie, you'll have a 1 minute opening followed by 5 minutes of questions for the council or however many questions there are, and then you'll have closing.
Okay.
So let me just get my phone out with the timer.
The rest of you guys can sit down if you guys want, it's gonna be 30 minutes.
Or you can all remain up, it's up to you. Yeah, you have to. There you go, you're offered, so. Okay, everyone, can you all give Melanie our attention, please? Okay, so whenever you're ready, you're open.
Hi, my name is Melanie Graffian. I'm the second year here. I'm majoring in communication studies, minoring in film studies. I am also involved in SAA. That's a huge part of my time here at UCLA. It's really exciting. And I'm just really, really looking forward to work with the election board and just make this the best election.
Thank you. And before we proceed, Dr. Geller, I'm not sure if years past, I'm trying to recall last year, do we have to approve each member of the board individually, or can we do like an omnibus, like if we count the churches?
I remember last year was just
This one.
We're supposed to vote individually on all stipended positions.
Okay, so.
So if they're all stipended, you should do them.
Okay, then I just want to clarify. Okay, then thank you. Okay, so now I'm going to have a few minutes of questions from the council. So, are there any questions from the council? Oh.
I should check yours in the beginning, but were you on e-board last year?
Yes.
Okay, what was your position?
I work under the Beyond sophomore, so it's part of the endorsements committee.
Any additional question? Amy?
What critique do you have from last year's election process, and what would you do differently this year, considering that you're vice chair now?
I think that last year we worked collectively as a team, and we did everything that we possibly could to ensure that it was like a fair election and that we abided by everything that was in the election code. So I think just being able to once again, like Danielle said, like work with people who we're very comfortable with and who we trust, and making sure that everyone's voice is heard in order to come up with the best team possible. I think all of like our minds together to come up with like the best solution for any problem that presents itself this year.
Okay, any additional questions from the council? No?
So last year we had the highest voter turnout out of any time in history. So how do you kind of hope to maybe continue that this year, even without the passing of maybe a resolution?
So I think that one of the big things that was a success last year was our marketing director, Owen. We came out with a video series. If you guys saw it, it was 2 videos, and those reached like total over 14,000 views. It even branched out to other universities, which was pretty amazing. But just to continue that and make it like inform the student body in a fun and exciting way. Not have these like long drawn out videos, but like little catchphrases or something that grasps the eye and makes the student body more intrigued about the candidates and what Usac is as a whole in election.
If I could expand on that, actually what she's saying is the election board chairperson equivalent at UC Berkeley contacted me because she saw our video, so that's something really exciting. She was looking for advice on how to incorporate that.
Thank you. Any additional questions from Melanie? Okay, seeing none, if you want to give a closing remarks, you're more than welcome to. Or if you choose, if you're good.
I think I'm good.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
You're great. Okay, then we'll move into a vote. Actually, I totally forgot. We have to open it up for discussion in the council. So now the council is gonna have a discussion if they choose to, as we do with all our appointments that are stipended. So if you want to remain in the room, you can. can, or if you want to step out and whatever you're comfortable with. Okay, so I can entertain a motion to.
I move to approve Melanie Graftian, for vice chair of the election board committee.
Second,
Election board.
second by Richard. Okay, so I'm going to discussion. Any points on this? Okay.
I thought you did a great job with great speaking skills. I think you could have better critically answered what Amy asked about what you could have fixed from, you wish you would have worked on from last year's election. I didn't really hear a solid answer. So I think that could maybe be expanded on.
Okay.
I do agree, did you say that? Okay, the same point, but at the same time, since you are second, you've only seen one election, so you don't have much to compare to, so, for your one election experience, it was quite a success, since it was the highest voter turnout since 2009, which is really impressive. So I just don't think that you have really the experience to answer it fully, because you've only seen one, so I really appreciate your answers, and I think you're very well qualified for the position.
Okay, any additional points on discussion?
I would say one of the things to be aware of, especially since you are vice chair, is that along with the chair, is to make sure that during election season that certain microaggressions are documented, especially, I've been through 3 different election seasons now. And one of the things is just terminology during endorsements and debates. The idea of saying you guys, that will trigger a lot of people in the room. So just making sure that you're going through that comprehensive training to make sure that those that attend all these events don't feel as if they don't feel safe in the room, because there are some people that are offended by you guys and actually emotionally get triggered from hearing them.
Okay, any additional points? No. Okay, then with that, all those in favor of appointing Melanie as our vice chair of the election board, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All those opposed? And all those abstaining? Melanie has been approved as vice chair. Congratulations. And now we move on to our next position on the election board. This is investigations. Grant Tobinkin. So there's Grant. So as with Melanie, you'll have an option up to 1 minute for an opening, followed by up to 5 minutes of questions from the council, and then up to 1 minute closing if you so choose. So whenever you're ready, we'll begin with your.
I'm Grant. I'm a third year political science and sociology double major, the civic engagement planner. So I'm up for the investigations director, as you know. So I'm excited to get to work and ensure that we have a free and fair election for everybody and respond appropriately to any complaints that may arise during election season.
Okay, thank you. So now we'll have up to 5 minutes of questions from council. Starting now.
Grant, looking back at since your third year, you were able to go through a couple election seasons now. Is there one most recent investigation that you received wasn't done in the best way, that you could have a critique for, and you yourself would do better?
I wasn't involved in the election. I wasn't on a committee for election board my first year, so I think I don't have enough information to speak on that. In terms of last year, I think that I was under the direction of Suman as investigations director, and was involved in investigating a lot of these complaints. In terms of one specific complaint, there's none that jumped to the top of my head. I think that we just have to ensure that every complaint is looked at fully and we do a full investigation for everyone that comes to our desk, so to speak.
Any additional questions from council for Grant? You know?
I think it's one thing to recognize that a complaint has been made, but how do you plan to follow up on that and, I guess, enforce disciplinary action once if it comes down to it?
So we have a procedure with receiving the complaint and then investigating that, through looking at the complaint that was filed and then, obtaining any other information that we feel is needed. And then using precedent and, other aspects to figure out an appropriate sanction, or to not sanction the action of the election.
If I could expand on that a little.
Yeah.
So I remember last year, I obviously was a part of investigations, but they'd be on the phone with the people who make the complaint and witnesses. They have photographic and video evidence of the complaint, so they investigate fully and then they ask extra questions just to make sure that we do handle the complaint as well as we can.
Okay, thank you. And I think I saw Ashley.
In your opening, you discussed a little bit about a free and fair election. Can you maybe go into some strategies that you have going into the spring election as to how you're going to hold that?
I think one thing that I want to focus on as investigations director is to fully communicate to the student body the reasoning for the sanction that was released by the election board, to make sure that this is free and fair and open and transparent, and everybody knows what's going on and understands the reasoning behind the actions of the election board.
Thank you. Any additional questions from council? Okay, seeing none, now if you want, if you want to give any closing remarks, you will, or not, then we'll go into our discussion.
You're welcome to discuss.
Okay, thank you.
I move to approve Grant Tobin as investigations director
On the election.
on the election board.
Okay, and I have a second. Second by Ashley. So now moving to discussion about Grant's appointment. So are there any points from the council?
I believe that just seeing that he was on investigations last year, that speaks a lot to his qualifications being the director this year. That's it.
Okay.
I agree with Sabrina in the sense that I do believe you're qualified given your past experience, but given the question I asked, there were a few things last year that personally I perceived didn't go appropriately, both being a candidate and both just observing the situation. So I would say, go back, look at different investigations and see what could be done differently, because there are a lot of students that did follow up on the investigation last year, and they themselves didn't feel like there's transparency in the end result.
Okay, thank you. Any additional comments with the discussion? Okay, and with that, we'll go into a vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All those opposed? No one abstaining. Grant has been approved as investigations chair. And now we move on to the finance director, Suman Adi. Okay. So, thank you. So, as before, you'll have up to 1 minute for an opening call back to finance question, and then if you want to give a closing in 1 moment. So, whenever you're ready.
So I'm Suman Bobby. I'm a third year business economics and statistics student here. I was on the board last year as investigations director. This year I'm sitting finance director because for one, investigations director is tough to stand as twice because it would be hard for you guys to have faith in someone to be in investigations twice in a row by nature of the lack of, I guess you could say lack of faith you had in a lot of decisions I made or the transparency that was present. Fortunately, finance director is a much more prescriptive position. Everything's in the election code. So campaign finance is what I'll primarily be dealing with, and that's all in the election code already. So not much that is up to date. Speaking of debate, the debates is another one of my responsibilities, and I understand a lot of concern that you had regarding the debate, and I would have to keep that in mind. I know we had a couple instances, which I was involved in last year. I'm trying to subdue.
That exhausts your time for your unfortunately, but we can continue.
Yeah, we'll go
to the questions, so just want to consistency sake. Thank you. sorry to cut you off there. So now, we will move into questions, so are there any questions for Simone? Letting now, questions? Yes.
Hello, Simone. I have a question. It's kind of tricky, so you mentioned the answer, but, if, do you have like any idea of like what you want to change within the finance codes, for the election? I know that that's always kind of a big point of contention, if that's a word. With, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Within like all of the slates and within each individual, because obviously people who can spend more, get more publicity, et cetera. So is there anything that you are looking to change surrounding the section within the finance codes?
Honestly, the election code as it was written was fairly straightforward regarding every single thing. And unless it's like philosophical reasons as to why you think certain positions shouldn't be allowed to spend $900 or pay to spend set a lower or higher limit, that's not necessarily much out at all. So I don't really have any money with that. But the case that happened last year with SJR, I think, clarified stake spending and referenda spending. So that issue is kind of put to rest since there's precedent now of that. So I don't really have any like intentions to change anything or any opinion on that.
Understood. Thank you. Any additional questions? Amy?
Last year there was an issue of the daily brewing talked about like of intimidation, especially within like respective different communities. How would you yourself handle if there was a case of intimidation that you essentially wouldn't crack under? Because I know last year it did affect Lindsay a lot.
In the case of in the case of intimidation, if it were pertaining to me outside of debate setting, is that what you were referring to? External intimidation?
Yeah, specifically with finances, because last year was a lot of contention over like who was spending how much is actually being spending, where was the receipts, all that. And there's a lot of intimidation from certain parties. So how would you manage that so that you could still remain on a clear path of what you're trying to do, which is ensure all the finances are straight?
I guess like I'm not like fairly prone to getting intimidated or like annoyed, so that's what we're going to do. I haven't really prepared myself for like something like that, but I have faith in my confidence.
Thank you. Are there any additional questions? Seeing none? No questions? Okay. Then that will exhaust the time of questions, and if you wanted to give me closing remarks or not, I think it's good.
If you have any concerns, like even ask my confirmation or not, feel free to reach out to me. I'm in a position to be more open than I was last year, and I definitely think like knowing campaign finances is critical to being able to run a successful campaign. So feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you. And with that, now the council move into a discussion. So as before, you can remain here, you can step out, wherever you feel comfortable with. Okay. So I can entertain a motion to appoint Simone Alvi to be the finance director of election board.
I'm going to approve Simone Alvi to be finance director of election.
Okay, second. Moved by Sabrina. So now we'll move into discussion. Were there any points, remarks?
I think just by looking at his resume, with his consulting background and his investment finance background, there's no better person for the job for a finance position. So,
thank you. Any additional? Sabrina?
Just interacting with you last year election, he is a very wonderful, calm, composed person. I think that's going to bode very well, especially finance director being in charge of debates this year. So especially in that realm, I have full faith in you.
Okay, any additional points from the council? Okay, seeing none, we're going to a vote. All those in favor of appointing Simone to be the next finance chair of election board, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All those opposed? None is abstaining. Okay, so one has been approved. And now we move on to to External Relations Director, Sam Clancy. So, as before, just a refresher, you'll have your one opening up to a minute, up to 5 minutes of questions, and then closing for a minute if you so choose. So, yes? Oh, sorry. Okay, let me just reset the timer. Okay, are we ready?
Thank you. My name is Sam Clancy. I'm a second-year computer science engineering major. Last year, I served on the election board as webmaster under Owen Wenzel. So if you remember that guy on the computer during all those meetings, that was me updating the website. Thanks to that position, I'm well acquainted with all the bureaucracies, papers, and so forth that election board has to go through. Yeah, if you have any questions, I'll leave it with you.
Okay, thank you. So now we'll have up to 5 minutes of questions from council. So, any questions from the council? Sam? Okay, drop it.
What did you invent that you invented on?
Oh, that. I didn't technically invent it because we never filed for a patent. But it was more of it's a wearable device, essentially. It's kind of like a jacket. It would detect it's more normally for high-risk patients with cardiovascular disease with a high risk of cardiac arrest. It will monitor the heart rate, just finger monitor, and then upon detection of abnormal or no heartbeat, it will administer both CPR and sustain defibrillation until the appropriate authorities arrive. I would say if I see this around home, you're a high risk.
Are there any questions? Are there any questions that want to follow that? Okay, seeing no more questions, we'll close questions. Do you want to give any closing remarks or?
I look forward to fulfilling the duties as prescribed by the election code.
Okay, thank you. So now we'll move into our vote on it. So if you want to remain in the room or you can step out, I'm good. Okay, just asking. And now I can entertain a motion to appoint Sam Clancy, sorry. To the External Relations Director on Election Board. So
I move to approve Sam Clancy for external relations on election board.
okay, second by Ariel. We'll have our discussion and then we'll move to a vote. So any points on Sam's appointment?
Well, his inventions are really cool. But beyond that, his resume is full of very impressive qualifications, just outside the realm of election board. I think that he's a very good candidate for this position.
Very cool. Thank you. Are there any additional comments from the council? Okay, then we'll go ahead and we'll move it to a vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All those opposed? None of those abstaining? Sam has been approved. Congrats. And now we move on to our next appointment. This is for the media director of the election board, Lauren Kim. So, Lauren, as everyone else, we have up to 1 minute for opening, followed by 5 minutes of questions from the council, and then closing up to 1 minute if you so choose. So, use my timer out. Whenever you're ready.
Hi, I'm Lauren Kim. I'm a second year. I'm currently underclared. I was previously director of design, and I'm now pursuing a major in DESNA. This is my first time on the board. I have never been involved in Usac, so I'm really excited about the opportunity to get involved. I'm additionally the creative content director for Ben, and so if you have any questions, go ahead.
Thank you. Now we'll move into questions. Council, let me just reset the clock. Okay, questions?
Lauren Kim. All right. So I'm more familiar with like last year's media kind of view a little bit. Do you think that hashtag Usac make it count actually made Usac count at all? Or should we pursue other avenues of pushing for media presence?
I can't lie, I didn't understand what the hashtag was. Granted, I wasn't super invested in the actual election process, so I feel like if I had investigated a little bit more, I could have figured it out. Do I think we should do a different hashtag? Possibly, I do think that's just beneficial, yeah.
Okay. Any additional questions for Lauren from the council? Council Sanders?
You're incredibly talented, your resume, we were just like crushing over it, it's beautiful. Why did you specifically choose to use your art skills in Usac elections versus a different? No.
I was actually approached by Owen, the person who was the media director last year. We met through class, and he and I had gone over each other's portfolios. And I guess he saw something in my work that he thought would fit Usac. And when I reviewed his videos and his graphics, I thought that it would be a really awesome way to utilize what I like to do. So.
Thank you. Additional questions? Yes, Zoe?
Do you have any new social media ideas that you'd like to bring for this election season that could increase voter turnout?
Well, I definitely do want to continue with the videos because I know that
there's really high revenue for the videos. I have a few ideas going into the videos that I think would increase even more, just kind of like visibility. And then as far as graphics go, I really want to amp the graphics up and kind of create like a comprehensible brand for our e-board. And so, yeah, I think
Thank you. Any additional questions for Lauren? Okay, we'll go ahead and close it. Did you want to give any concluding remarks? Okay.
I move to approve Lauren Kim, the media director on election board.
Okay, second? Second by Christina. And then I'll move into discussion. I just first off want to say, in honor of myself, I had a chance to spend the last 10 days in the Middle East with Lauren on a trip where we visited Israel and the Palestinian territories, and getting to spend time in her. She's an incredible person, incredibly artistic, and just such a great person to be around. I think she'll do an excellent job serving students on the election board. Any other points?
Yeah, just kind of echo that. Just being on the trip with Lauren, like connecting on, it's a different level. We really know her social media presence is fire. Like honestly, it's an honor for like us to, I guess, Usac in general to like have such an artistic person, like applying for a position like this. But on top of that, she's one of the few pure souls that are left. I guess hopefully this really awesome that you can look at her artistic abilities to like make this have an impact, and hopefully just looking at the like social media presence last year was great, and I really think we're going to carry on that legacy, I guess. So great person for the
Okay, thank you. Any additional points, commentary to the council? Okay, seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All those opposed? None abstained. Lauren has been appointed as our next media director of election. Okay, now last but not least, we have our endorsements director, Dixon Chen, who I'm going to invite up to give his remarks. So I don't need to be repetitive at this point, so I think you get the drill. So whenever you're opening, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Dixon Chen. I'm a second year psychobiology major with a possible biomedical research minor. I'm currently working in a lab right now in the psychology department where I'm doing research about neural mechanisms in mice. I worked under election board last year under Danielle, under endorsements committee, and this year I'm going for endorsements.
Thank you. So with that, now we'll have 5 minutes of questions from council. So any questions for Dixon, council? Sandra?
What do you think you can improve on, as compared to your experience last year?
I feel like we had a lot of like loose like papers last year, and it was like a huge packet and stuff. So I'm working on refining that this year. So like I noticed like some of the forms were really repetitive last year. Like I'm working on making it more concise and stuff, so it's easier to understand.
Okay. Any additional questions?
Yeah. Do you think endorsements are necessary? Do you think they engage more people on campus, or do you think it's just like extra work? What is your view on the endorsement process itself?
Well, I think there's like there's definitely a section in the election board, and I think it's our election code, and I think it's like there for a reason. So I just plan to like make sure everyone follows the rules and stuff.
Okay, thank you. Any additional questions? Okay, do you want to give any concluding remarks?
I look forward to making this a nice and fair election this year.
Okay, thank you. Now the council will move into its vote. So as before, you can remain here, you can step out if you're more comfortable.
I'll stay here.
Okay. So now I can entertain a motion from the council to approve the appointment of Dixon Chen as appointed director of the election board after endorse.
I move to approve Dixon Chen as endorsements director on election board.
Second? Someone did? Someone did. Okay, so now we'll move into a discussion. Any points?
Yeah, I know Jason personally since the beginning of last year, and so he's a really nice guy, and I think he did a great job last year on election board, and he's going to do an even better job this year.
Thank you. Any additional comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All those opposed? And all those abstaining? Dixon has been appointed as endorsement chair. And with that, that concludes our election board. So there you go, your 2017 election board. So we're really excited. Thank you so much. Okay. And now we will move on to officer and member reports. So we will begin with myself. I literally have nothing to say for my report since I have been out of the country the past 4 weeks. But excited, looking forward to the school year, getting back in the groove of things. So thank you. HR Vice President.
Just a couple announcements. First, February 1st is the off-campus living fair. Last year we had 2,000 plus students attend. There's usually like 8 to 10 landlords present. Some of those landlords having multiple apartment buildings in Westwood. So just opportunity for students to kind of find their housing, have like one space to look at a lot of different places. So if you have friends that are living in apartments next year, or if you yourself are living in an apartment next year, please spread the word. We'll obviously have graphics and flyers in the next couple weeks as well. That's February 1st, 11 to 3. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions for the IUP? Okay, seeing none, we'll go on to the external vice president.
A lot going on right now. My office just launched a campaign today called 2017 Millennials Take Charge. The goal is really to give students more tangible things they can use to connect with government. It's kicking off an event next Thursday. We're having 3 different assembly members here, as well as our UC student regent, Marcelo Ramirez. So if you are kind of seeking some way to be more involved and do something more to connect with government, I would definitely encourage you to RSVP and come to that event. Secondly, today Governor Brown released his budget proposal. I have a statement on this, read this from our office. In response to the release of Governor Brown's budget proposal, the California Senate Leader accepted a proposal SB 15. Our office would like to express apprehension for both policy proposals. While we appreciate the slight increase in UC funding appropriated in preliminary budget proposal, we believe that the current model is still not structurally sustainable for the future of our public higher education system. A small increase in funding may serve as temporary fiscal relief, but we would like to see our elected representatives look towards the root of the issue for a long-term solution. Similarly, Senator De Leon today, his policy proposal, Senate Bill 15, offers another short-term solution at the expense of an important scholarship program. He has threatened to entirely cut the state's middle-class scholarship program. Once again, our lawmakers are pitting students against each other by saying the only way to fund the UC is to take money away from your own scholarship programs, which is absolutely ridiculous. One that has successfully allowed middle-income students to access higher education for several years. Our office is currently looking into the exact language of SB 15, but we hope to work with the Leon's office to express our concerns with the investment of the middle-income affordability program. So with that, we had our UCSA meeting last weekend at UCLA, and we launched this year's Fund the UC campaign, which I'm very proud that Nina sort of been spearheading that effort. All 10 UC campuses, 18 associations were present, which is I think the highest they've had at the UCSA board meeting in a very long time. We're very, very supportive of the Fund the UC campaign. Our goal is to really start looking towards long-term structural change for our tuition crisis. I'm sure many of you are familiar that the Board of Regents is voting on a $281 tuition increase on January 26th, which is very quickly approaching. But we do believe that we've got to stop having reactionary campaigns that are very temporary, focused on long-term solutions, which include two primary things. Number one is Prop 13 reform in the state of California. And number two is the 2018 gubernatorial election, making sure our candidates know that higher education funding is extremely important to us. That is all for now.
Thank you. Any questions for the EVP? Okay, seeing none, we move on to the Academic Affairs Commissioner.
Hi everyone, just a couple announcements as far as events go. For January 21st, something that my commission and I kind of discussed, that would be sort of a good idea, but we're still looking into it, is to have some buses go to the Women's March in downtown Los Angeles, which is taking place January 21st from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Still figuring out the details on that, but if anyone is interested in co-programming on that, or engaging with different communities to see who would want to take part and fill up these buses so we can go to downtown LA, please feel free to reach out to me via email or talk to me after council. On February 7th, we're having our first Winter Corridor Express Free Day in Brew Plaza from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Puppies, supplies will be there as well. And then I should have directors reaching out to the commissions who want to be a part and have a table at Brew Plaza on that day. So if you are already interested, again, feel free to talk to me. I know SWC usually does, and I believe that TSR could be down, and anyone else is welcome. We have many tables, so come join. And then February 23rd, we're going to do a co-programmed event with the Financial Supports Commission. Still figuring out the theme of this event, but revolving around networking as well as resume critiques. So, yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you. Any questions for the AAs?
This will be January 21st, so we're kind of on a crunch for time, but if you're interested, yeah.
Perfect. Any questions? Okay, we'll move on to the Student Wellness Commissioner.
Okay, so yesterday, members of Search and other SWC committees were able to help with the Broome Health Pharmacy grand opening. So basically, Ash is expanding their pharmacy to Ackerman, and this will serve students. And then members of BCC, alongside with members of Bruins Against Sexual Harassment, were protesting at a class taught by History Professor Gabriel Kitterberg. If you haven't heard of what's been happening, please go read up on it. It's on Google Bruin. It's been covered by the LA Times. It's also very important to just be aware of what is happening and what administration are and aren't doing on this campus to make it safer. Besides that, Bruin Consent Coalition's Consent Week, which we do annually, is next week. There's a series of events. Our event page is on Facebook. If you'd love to go check it out. We'll be doing a mini clothesline display as well all throughout the week. And then we are also planning for I Love My Body Week, which is an annual event that we do every year. That will be week 6 of this quarter. After mines, the mental health committee was able to help with RA trainings and give out their, not give out, but present their mental health 101 workshop to all the RAs this past quarter. And then Earth will be holding a recycling drive at some point this quarter. Registration for Burn Run Walk's 18th annual Run Walk will be opening this month. It does benefit the Chase Child Life Center at Mattel Hospital. And then Total Wellness is also working on their 2nd issue of the year. It'll be about cross-cultural health. And that's it. But if anyone has any questions, please feel free to send them my way.
Okay, any questions for the SWC? Yes.
I just want to say that the committee at the RA training this past weekend was phenomenal. They really did some great workshops, and I came across a lot of stuff that I hadn't really seen before either. But a lot of RA women really loved the training that they provided. I know that's because of the students in the office.
Okay, Zach, any additional questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the Facilities Commissioner.
All right, so I have a lot of updates, but I'll try to keep it to 3. First, I will never stop talking about safe transportation until it is actually addressed. Danny, GSA president, and myself are meeting with several members of UCLA Transportation. Thank you, Danny, for talking to the chancellor about this. We had a meeting with UCLA Transportation during finals week, and the conclusion was that we are now looking to securing funding for a mobile application, which is a great step. Of course, there are a lot of things that have to be finalized, but that's where we are right now. My second announcement is that composting will be expanding at ASUCLA, which is an incredible feat as well. Thank you so much, Troy. So I think near Kirchhoff Cafe, we should see another composting booth. And my last announcement, if I have to choose one, it might be the expansion of recycling in Greek life houses. We are looking to do 2 trial runs, one at Kappa Delta and one possibly at API. So I look forward to sharing that with you.
Thank you. Any questions for the Facilities Commissioner? Okay, we'll move on to the General Representative 1.
Hey everyone, my office is currently working on some really cool events, but I'm not going to share too much right now just because they're still in the works and I don't want to give this information, but we're working on bringing some companies to campus that practice corporate social responsibility as a way to expand job opportunities for students on campus and get more face time with other companies than just what Career Center has to offer. And we're going to be working with sports teams in the upcoming season to get more student engagement at sporting events. So more to come.
Okay, any questions for the General Representative 1? Okay, we'll move on to General 2.
So today, this evening, we met with the Career Center director and all the senior staff of the Career Center, and we established for winter and spring quarter different trips going to different Silicon Beach companies, specifically start. So Tinder, Snapchat, other groups we're looking into. Really exciting. We're also establishing entrepreneurship workshops. They already have one scheduled for next week on Tuesday, but we're going to be trying to specifically go into different sectors of entrepreneurship, whether it be intellectual property or business plan development. So if any student wants to go and go to these workshops, we're co-programming with the Career Center about that. And we're also looking into establishing a student advisory board to the Career Center. This is something that they wanted. And so they're looking into how to do it in ways that we'd be able to help with whatever we can with them. Later on this week, we have meetings with several deans within the Anderson School and B.B. Turner and Jaime Alba to help establish a long-term entrepreneurship plan for UCLA. And on Friday, the Entrepreneurship Council of UCLA is meeting, which meets every 6 months-ish. But it's the first time Usac was invited to this meeting. so that's pretty exciting.
Any questions for our gym rep two? Okay, seeing none, we move on to the transfer student representative.
Okay, let me start out with, the scholarship account was made finally. We're finalizing our alumni board to, judge the scholarship, the people that apply for the scholarship, the transfers that apply. We're finalizing that with the alumni center currently, and we'll get that up and running by the end of the winter quarter. It's been pushed back just because we had to contact like a bunch of alumni to try and see if they would be able to commit time to it. Show Me the Ropes has during winter break created all the mentees and mentors created a sheet of their community college, their GPA, professors they took, what their major was, and pretty much like how they got into UCLA. So like a little blurb about what their story was, what their two essays kind of looked like, and what their application really looked like as a whole. They gave them to some of them, and some of them are still giving them back to their community college counselors, so that if someone in community college is looking to go to UCLA, they'll be able to look at someone who has taken their track and look at professors and people and how to contact in community college and just have that as something to look off of and try to aim for. And then, so Wellness did a mental health chat week 10 of De-Stress Week, and they came up with a bunch of, they consolidated advocacy efforts within the office and just met with, I think they met with Vice Chancellor Monroe about mental health advocacy, because we're moving towards rather programming, instead of programming, we're moving towards advocacy in the trans community. And we have 3 different things that we're working on other than the initiatives in the office. It's non-traditional housing, environmental policy, and lactation rooms, because we just got a contact from SWC and we're working with a non-traditional student network to get lactation rooms on North Campus, South Campus, and on the Hill. And we have, because it's a new year, we have a new director. So we have a director of diversity and intersectionality within the transfer office. And a little news within the transfer community, the Transfer Coalition is working on a transfer advisory board to get more representation for transfer students on another institutional level. And the Business Transfer Network is holding a bunch of resume workshops for transfer students. So if anyone knows anyone that is a transfer student, please let them know about the Business Transfer Network, because a lot of transfers are looking at jobs, what their next level or what their next steps are. So make sure that it's week 3. I'm pretty sure on Wednesday in SAC room 2, and they're doing it for a lot of the day. So I'll get that information, but make sure that kind of transfers know.
Perfect. Any questions for our TSR?
So what would the advisory board advise? Would it be like just the coalition, or would it be advising?
Currently, it would be an institutionalized coalition. So right now we have a coalition that was based on, okay, so there are 3 branches of the BRC, which is the BRC, the Transfer Student Rep Office, and the coalition. The coalition houses all the transfer student leaders under its like umbrella. What they come up with is policies, different advocacy efforts, and what the advisory board would do is institutionalize the coalition so that we would have administrative support on our policies, our advocacy efforts, and if we wanted to program, if it comes to that, that's what it would be, like an institutionalized transfer board of like the coalition.
Any additional questions? Okay, seeing none, thank you. We'll move on to our administrative representatives, beginning with Dr. Bella.
First, Rob sends his regards. He is at a neighborhood council meeting this evening, so he couldn't be here with us. Second, my office is currently in the midst of a renovation, and my phone line isn't functional right now. If you need me, email and I'll get back to you, or if you have a cell phone number, feel free to use that and call, text, or whatever. That's probably going to be the next 6 weeks. And one thing I do want to share, I had the opportunity to talk with some folks earlier this week about the role that all of your student appointees on various committees. serve. Messages that they ask that I bring back and share. When the students who are on these committees speak up, they make a huge difference. Their comments from the first person perspective, their own experiences relevant to the issues being discussed can really sway a committee and the decisions it makes. So I was asked to encourage you, have all of your appointees speak up. There are still some who seem a bit intimidated. And they were invited to be on various committees because their voice is really important to the committees that they serve. At the same time, the flip side of that, if they cannot make it, very few of the committees welcome proxies. If the individual who was appointed cannot go, unless the committee chair has told them they can send someone else, there is to be no student there. So we do want to make sure that they don't just randomly send a representative if they can't go to a meeting. That representative, for many committees, will be asked to leave because the committees want consistency. And so they want someone who's been with them meeting after meeting, who understands the issues being discussed, the history of the discussions. And so they did ask that if someone's not able to go, they should check with their committee chair prior to sending a proxy. But for those that come and are engaged, we're getting really positive feedback about the ability to impact change at different committees. And I know there's been some concern about some of the ones that did not meet. Not every committee meets every quarter, just by its standing purpose and guidelines. So some of the committees where your appointees have not yet been engaged, that's standard practice, and they're likely to have their first meeting in this winter quarter.
Thank you, Dr. Bill. And we move on to our next office report. Jessica, did you have anything else?
Just excited to be here and get to know you guys.
Of course, thank you. Now, Roy.
I would, for the board, thank our partnership with the Ash Center. We're pretty pleased that they moved through construction pretty quickly, and the new Bruin Health Pharmacy is over on A level. Probably know, I think that's going to be expanded, services and hopefully quicker. And it's also part of the way in which we try to, pay bills without increasing your fees by, in this case, they pay our rent to ACCLA, which helps us with freight costs. So I think it's when you just squeeze some people that were in those offices into other places, make space available. So it's a good outcome.
Perfect. Thank you. And that concludes our administrative reports. Now we'll move on to fund allocation, beginning with our contingency program. I'll turn it over to you.
Just confirming, Christina, this 30% collision under SWC. Okay, then 19 student organizations, non-USAC related, apply for the same number of programs. I'll start off with those. They required a total of $78,489 and 77 cents. They requested for $15,479.81. The finance committee recommends $6,470.
Okay, so this is for non-USAC.
Non-USAC.
Okay. So I can entertain a motion to approve this allocation, the non-USAC allocation. Yep. There's that.
I move to approve the contingency allocation for $6,470.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a second? Ashley, all those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All those opposed? And all those abstaining? The non-USAC allocation for contingency has been approved.
Okay, for the USAC offices, I start off with SWC. I collected the sums for SWC and the 30% collection. The total for the required amount would be $530.84. That is the same number for the requested amount, and the finance committee recommends $400. This is the collected sum for SWC in general and for the collection. So it's the figure of our.
Okay, so I can entertain a motion to approve the USAC contingency allocation for this week?
I move to approve SWC's $400 for programming.
Okay, second. By Ashley, all those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All those opposed? All those abstaining? Oh, I said accidentally counted. She's abstaining. So 11, 0, 1. This allocation is approved. Sorry.
The next office is Genera 3, they required $663.70, they requested for $339.45, and I committee recommends $300.
Kevin, just a quick side note, I think that we could consolidate all the USAC allocations.
I would assume when we're voting, since they have to abstain.
Oh, well, the passing thing, we couldn't just have all the council members who happen to be in that allocation abstain, or, I know, I was thinking in the interest of time, but.
It was just because, previous, at least last quarter, you mentioned that we should vote separately for.
Oh, okay, I don't even recall, well, okay, I'm sorry, yeah. It's been a little while, okay, then let's forget that, let's erase that from the exact line now. Okay, so in that case, never mind, we'll go ahead with the allocation for, Gen Rec 3, if anyone wants to make the motion. He didn't finish?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm going to approve the contingency allocation for Gen Rec 3 for $300.
okay. Second, all those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All those opposed? And all those abstaining? The allocation for Gen Rec 3 has been approved.
The last USAC office is for IDP, they require $1,500, they requested for $950. That represents $400.
Okay, I can entertain a motion to approve this allocation.
I move to approve the contingency allocation for IVP for $400.
Can we have a second? Second by Dib. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All those opposed? And all those abstaining? This allocation has been approved. Okay, and that concludes our contingency program. Now we move on to the UP Bruin Defenders.
We have one application from the Bruin Consent Coalition to do a state advocacy trip to Sacramento on February 16th and 17th. The amount is unlimited pursuant to it meeting the Bruin Defenders application guidelines.
Okay, so.
What's your technical limit for defenders?
It really depends on, for a conference, it has to be a maximum of $500. For an advocacy trip, there's no group set amount, there's a set amount for flights and hotels and regular component of the trip.
Okay, definitely. So, this is a consent item. So unless there are any objections from council, seeing none, this allocation has been approved by consent. Now we move on to the ASRF. So I'll turn that over to Ash.
There's two separate different allocations. First one will be for a winter quarter hackathon for the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers for the total amount of $1,850. And then the second allocation is for the Chinese Students and Scholars Association for their Chinese Lunar and New Year Festival Gala. This would be for $1,750.
Okay, and as with vendors, this is also a consent item. So unless there are any objections from the council, seeing none, this allocation from the ASRF has been approved. And now lastly, the student loans program fund.
And we have two separate groups applied to the programming fund, so you've been with against Alzheimer's, and we recommended $285. And then there's diabetes, who's working towards a campaign that has been allowed, $294, excuse me, for a total of $579.
Okay, thank you. And this is also a consent item, so unless there are any objections, seeing none, this allocation from the student loans programming fund has been approved. And that concludes our funding allocations. We have no old business, and we have an item of new business, the approval of ad hoc committee recommendations for the Usac Reform Committee. A chance to represent it, so I'll just turn it over to you.
Okay, so throughout the past break, I interviewed the people that reached out about the Usac Reform Committee. So I'm just I can go about it a couple of ways, but should I just do my recommendation and then have it be up to a discussion?
Well, since this is, you put this out as an action item, so what exactly are, just a question, what are we
We're
approving?
voting on the recommendation of the people.
These are
Or
council
for
members?
the-
These are council members?
It's like the committee members, so basically Divya has a set list of recommendations for the people he thinks would best benefit this committee, and then the council has to vote on the members they approved as a whole.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you want me to do it, like by giving a recommendation and have people?
Well, you can just read it off and then you can put it as a motion, we can second it, then we'll go into discussion and then a vote. So you can.
Okay, so my recommendation for the USAC ad hoc committee is Zach Dameron, Akshay Mohan Kumar, Christina Lee, Sabrina Ziegler, and Deidre.
Okay, can we have a second to that motion? Wait, did you say?
So he is the recommendation, somebody has to move to approve.
Understood, okay, so I can entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve Divya Sharma, Sabrina Ziegler, and myself, Zach Cameron, Ashley Kumar, and Christina Lee to the ad hoc committee for USAC reform.
Okay, second. Moved by Ariel, and now, what?
No, because everyone can vote, but you could also, part of the discussion is putting forth like other name recommendations, but everyone can vote on approving themselves. Because an ad hoc committee and council is all made up of council members. But we just need a majority vote.
Okay, so now we're in discussion. Does anyone have any points they'd like to bring forward regarding this?
Especially considering the general representative position is one of the most, I guess, highly affected by this reform. I think it'd be valuable to have at least one of us on that committee.
Okay, so everyone is welcome to come to all of these meetings. These are not closed door meetings out. They're open to the student body, they're open to everyone. These people selected are just accountable for presentations to the council. They're not accountable for any decisions that are made. What we come up with, the focus groups, what people say, we'll come together and make a PowerPoint pretty much. And that's what I was looking for, is like, these people, yes, they have different perspectives on the council table, but they're also gonna be held accountable, like, for time, for meetings, for all the list of things that we have to get done and present to the council. So I by no means want it to be any personal or anything, but for the sake of the accountability, I know that through the interviews, these people not only demonstrated that they have the time to do these things, but also demonstrated their accountability within the community. So that's why I have that recommendation.
Understood. I see Sabrina.
Also, just kind of point of clarification, this committee is not, nothing is affected by this committee, because everything also has to pass a vote to the council and then also put on the ballot and also pass by the students. So nothing is actually specifically changing from this committee. It's bringing forth the best options of what to do, even if to do anything, to kind of make the best representation for the UCLA students that are both represented already and the ones that are pushed aside and very underrepresented as well. So maybe no change, but also just the options within that.
Definitely. Any other points, comments before we move to a vote?
Also, people, if you like, do you think that your name, Gianni, can make like a case for yourself and council votes on each specific member? So if you really want to be on the committee, that's like up to the council to vote.
We don't have to vote.
No. I'm saying if anybody does specifically, just to, so everyone knows what they're allowed to do.
Okay, definitely. Other, yes.
Is the number of people on the committee like set in stone?
Yes, we said it in minutes that it'd be up to 4 to 5, so checking back on that, so yeah, it's up to 4 to 5 people that are on the committee.
Okay, any additional points before we go to a vote? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of the approval of the ad hoc committee recommendations for the Usac Reform Committee, all those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All those opposed and all those abstaining, these recommendations have been adopted by the council. Thank you, Viv. And yeah, there we go, yeah, wow, yeah. And now we'll move on to announcements. I actually want to make one announcement. I forgot to give this. I was supposed to give this in my officer report, but I'm really excited. Next Tuesday, 100% is locked in. All the presidential interns will be coming to the council meeting to give a few words of public comment and observe our council meeting. We have 25 interns, I think, so they're really excited to see their first Usac council meeting. But in addition to that, I want to invite everyone on the council to come to our interns meeting next Wednesday evening, 6 p.m., to talk about what your office is to them and your role in serving students on our campus as a member of Usac. I'll send a formal email, but I just want to give you a heads up now. Our interns are really excited to hear from all the different council members and what they do. It's going to be at 6 p.m. next Wednesday in the Acronym Viewpoint Lounge. So again, I'll send a more detailed email, but just to put that on the radar, we'd really appreciate having as many council members there as possible, just for 5 minutes each, anytime between 6 and 7, just to come in and share what you're working on. So that's my announcement. Additional.
This is just to everyone. So IBP starting within like my soulmates committee. My directors are putting forward like a student group of the week, just kind of promoting on the USAC website or the USAC Facebook page, IBP Facebook page, and other social media outlets, etc. Trying to highlight a student group that has an event coming up to help highlight like their event and bring publicity to it, but also just student groups that are doing amazing things. So if you have any student groups that you want to be part of that, or that they themselves want more publicity and help publicity, please put them my way, because we want to get as much of an outreach as possible to the student groups.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Something that just got approved earlier today, and I'll be doing a more extensive report on it next week. Something I've been working on and trying to do since last year as an RA is creating a themed community on the Hill, a living and learning community centered around public service and civic engagement. It just got approved earlier and is in effect will take place next year in partnership with Chloe Pan, who's also an RA. We put the proposal together and are creating now a floor within residential life on the Hill that is now on the housing app for returners and will be on the housing app for new students. Partnering with a lot of different campus departments, boards, ranging from, community service all the way to, doing internships, like doing trips to City Hall, looking to partner, we're meeting now that it's been approved and trying to form partnerships with boards. If anyone's interested in such a thing, please let me know, because over the next month, we're going to be sort of shaping the curriculum and what we want this living learning community to look like. So I'll give a more extensive report on what we're looking for there, but yeah.
Thank you. Are there any additional announcements?
Just a quick announcement, just for the minutes on the record. They didn't meet with the wellness committee, didn't meet with Vice Chancellor Monroe, they met with Cass Care and the RSC.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. There's what I really need to put my office on the agenda, so we can do my announcements, everyone else's. But anyway, so, yeah, that being said, this weekend, this Thursday actually, we're having our first event of the year, and it's an interactive art event that's at, Kirkhoff Art Gallery. It will be on display this whole weekend. It's a exhibit by student artists that kind of highlight, the importance of self-identity in mental health and how that kind of introspection can lead to a lot of positive benefits for students. I'm excited personally to see how this kind of plays out because I haven't seen the exhibit myself, but you all should definitely come by and take a look. It will be on exhibit starting Thursday night, it's a debut, and then it'll be on Friday and Saturday as well. So definitely stop by. It's called the Rorschach. I don't know how you pronounce it. Rorschach test. And it's basically you just walk in. There's going to be great coaches there. There's going to be a few other people just talking about the importance of mental health and I guess the intersection between art and self-care. So definitely stop by. And then I received a message from Jabril saying one of the things we plan to do after the presentation was send out the sign-up form for Sigma Chi. So I'd still like to send that out to you all. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do the presentation today. I'd like to think it wasn't, due to history or like whatever, politics that have to do with these kinds of votes. But also, at the same time, I just want to remind everyone that we're here to serve students, and in some cases, it takes critical analysis of the rules that we're made to follow to, is it hindering, I guess, progress? Is it hindering, resources that could be useful for students? And it really, although we can still hold this presentation next week, it just sets everything a week back for me personally. I'd love to meet with all of you personally. If you want to learn more about it, I hope you do. This is about Sigma Chi. We had a presentation, kind of last segment that we tried to vote in, but unfortunately it's voted down. But next week, we'll inform you to the best of our abilities next week about what's going on, what we plan to do with that. So feel free to reach out to me. You'll have my email address and contact info. I'd love to let you all know how you can all get involved, or I'm going to reach out personally to those of you involved in Green Life because we're working closely with them as well. So I'll send out the link on the group me right now. So if you could all just send it to any other group meetings or your offices, that would be great in terms of like spreading the word. And then once that contact info is collected, we'll send out more info to those who are interested in signing up. So that's all I have to say.
Very good. Thank you, Enoch. Any additional announcements? Seeing none, we'll conclude our council meeting with the signing of the attendance sheet as that gets passed around. And I can entertain a motion to adjourn council at 8:55 p.m. Ashley?
Move to adjourn council at 8:55 p.m.
All those in favor? Second? Second by Rube. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All those opposed? All those abstaining? Council has been adjourned at 8:55. Now we will conclude with, we can turn on Usac Live.
Oh, Rue, can you close it?
Yeah. As we begin.